Everyone, please close your eyes. Envision your earliest childhood memory. Visualize it. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? Breathe in deeply and let that memory wash over you. Why was this memory significant in your life and learning journey? Please open your eyes. My first memory was of me taking a photograph with my third grade teacher, Mrs. Freeman, after receiving an award. I have no memories before the age of 8. Effective leaders are not afraid to be vulnerable in order to create opportunities to authentically listen to and learn from one another. When leaders listen authentically and share meaningfully and deeply, they connect to those they lead and advocate for a more diverse and inclusive environment and workplace. Do not be afraid to speak your truth. My truth is that I learn differently than typical students. These differences manifested themselves in a variety of ways throughout my childhood. In kindergarten, my parents told me that I struggled with reading and my teacher wanted to retain me. Throughout elementary school, I was in speech therapy, and in high school, my mom had to hire my brother's best friend to tutor me in history to help me understand what my teacher spent hours trying to impart to my young mind. Now that was awkward. In college, my grades dropped dramatically, and I struggled to pass the classes on my own. It was with courage that I traveled down the stairs of shame to the basement of the largest building on campus to be assessed for learning disabilities. I refer to them as the stairs of shame because of the embarrassment I felt going to the basement where the Department for Students with Disabilities was located. I did not want anyone to know that anything might be wrong with me. At the age of 18, I was formally diagnosed with attention deficit disorder, auditory processing disorder, and long-term memory disorder. Throw in my additional medical diagnosis of general anxiety disorder, and you have a well-rounded person. The light bulb finally ignited in my mind. No wonder I cannot remember anything before the age of 8. No wonder why I struggled so much to learn and retain information of names and people that were only spoken and not seen. I was put on medication for the ADD and had to have monthly blood tests to make sure that my liver was not being destroyed. I was given an individualized education plan, or IEP, to help support me with accommodations in my university courses. However, it was rare that I actually showed that IEP to a college professor or to an employer. I did not want to be labeled or identified by my disability. I later realized that I should not have been ashamed or embarrassed to reach out to a professor and to ask for support. I should have been brave and advocated for myself more while I was in college. When I did reach out to a professor, they were kind and understanding. A funny story. I failed my first drug test when I was offered my first teaching position in California. Apparently, the medication for ADD shows up quickly on those tests. Luckily, I was able to show them my prescription bottle and sign my contract and begin my teaching career in California. Beyond showing that to my employer more than 20 years ago, I have rarely mentioned my learning disabilities and challenges to anyone outside of my immediate family and circle of trust. I did not want to be identified or defined by my disabilities. I sat in IEP meetings with parents who were in tears after they heard their child was recently diagnosed with a learning disorder. I saw the hopelessness in their eyes when they saw that their child had limitations and they received a label. And in others, I saw a glimmer of hope that it helped explain why their child struggled the way that they did. I had the privilege of being a stay-at-home mom for 7 years. It was a blessing to be at home with my children during that time of their lives when they were young and making memorable moments every day. But there were days when the stress and anxiety of being a stay-at-home mom, and a parent for that matter, just overwhelmed me. And I could be found on the floor in the kitchen with my knees curled up to my chest in tears, wondering how I would make it through the rest of the day. I called it my mommy meltdown. If you are a parent who is struggling, realize that you are not alone. If you struggle with anxiety, take a mindful moment, take a deep breath, and please do not give up. I find that the rose is a good analogy for people. While roses have thorns that can prick tender fingers, Each rose has a unique blossom, which begins as a small rosebud and later blossoms into full bloom with a variety of vibrant colors and shades. Just like the wide variety of roses in this world, there are a wide variety of individuals. We all have our thorns and our challenges, yet we all wake up each day eager to bloom and face the sun, and to bloom where we have been planted in life. Rita Pierson advocated the need for every child to have a champion in order to succeed. My champions were my third grade teacher, Mrs. Freeman, my university professors, Brad Wilcox and Dr. Bustamante, and now Dr. Sue Buster, my boss at my current job. Mrs. Freeman was often teased for her age and appearance, but I remember her being kind to me and patient when I did not understand something. Brad Wilcox helped me believe that I could one day become an author and share my ideas with the world. Dr. Bustamante told me at the age of 22 that I had great potential and should consider being a university professor one day. Dr. Buster inspired me to tell my own story before someone could tell it for me. These are all individuals who believed in me when I did not always believe in myself. These individuals each made a strong connection to me in order to be agents of change in my life. When I reflect on those IEP meetings, I realized that I should have spoken up and been that child's champion and shared my story. Through sharing my story, others who learn differently will know they are not alone. Others who learn differently will know that they can have hope in a brighter future, full of potential and endless possibilities. Please help advocate for your students. Please bloom where you are planted and help others to do the same. Do not define students who learn differently as those who cannot achieve like their peers. Help students see how they can learn from and be refined and not defined by their IEP. Some educators have the mindset that if a student has an IEP or a learning disability, that it's as good as it's gonna get. They can't expect them to achieve like their normal peers, that they will just try their hardest and move on. I disagree. Do not let the label of a learning disability or IEP limit the perception you have of your children or your students, and especially not of yourself. Like this beautiful peacock, we each have hidden talents, skills, and abilities that the world does not see when they do not truly know the person. Be brave and show off your unique talents and skills. The world will benefit from your individuality and contribution to society. Helen Keller, Albert Einstein, Walt Disney, Amanda Gorman. These are all individuals who overcame disabilities and challenges to be successful in life. Amanda Gorman was in speech therapy for many years and was the youngest poet laureate at the presidential inauguration. In an interview with Oprah Winfrey, Amanda Gorman said she did not view her speech impediment or auditory processing disorder as a weakness or a disability. Instead, she views it as one of her greatest strengths. Amanda Gorman is grateful for the experience because it informs her poetry and makes it stronger. These people were refined and not defined by their challenges and disabilities. They are role models that inspire us all. We can learn from others who have risen up to the challenge of wanting to be heard. We all need a voice. The dictionary defines refine as a verb meaning to improve something by making small changes. The adjective refine means developed or improved as to be precise. My challenges have refined me and made me a stronger woman, wife, mother, teacher, and professor. I am more empathetic to others who have learning challenges. I have learned how to make learning experiences more visual and kinesthetic in order to retain information longer. I have learned how to organize my thoughts and to take notes to study for exams. I have improved by making small changes to my daily habits. Last year, I graduated with my doctoral degree and maintained a 4.0 GPA all 3 years. If I had believed in and accepted the lower expectations for students with disabilities, I would not have even applied for or considered a doctoral program. I am now a full-time educator and a part-time professor and am working towards being a published author. I have let my challenges refine me and not define me. What hidden biases do you have towards students who learn differently. In conclusion, my call to action to you is this. I challenge you to be refined and not defined if you learn differently. I challenge you to be the champion for those in your sphere of influence who learn differently than you. I challenge you to help individuals be refined and not defined by their learning differences. Thank you.